Hi, I'm Richard Schoeller, and I'm glad that you've visited my website or come to YouTube to see this video. Thanks for taking time to explore these videos. I hope they're educating you and in some way exciting you. So today I wanted to talk about something that's been coming up more recently with clients who have been calling for a session, and that is their need to communicate through with someone who's passed right away. It's not easy for me to say to a client that they need to wait a little bit of time. And there's no hard and fast rule about how long it takes for someone to communicate through. But I've been clear that I have to trust my instinct in saying they need a little bit of time. Let me explain this a little bit further. When someone passes into the spiritual realm, again, there's no hard and fast rule, but not everyone can communicate through right away. In my experience as a medium, some people have come through a couple of days, in fact a week after their passing. In my experience as a medium, some people have never come through. I remember a couple of months back, a woman that I was sitting with at the end of the session looked at me and she said, "I've gone to many mediums and every time I go, my sister never communicates through." She didn't communicate through when I sat with this woman as well. There are reasons. Some of the reasons why people won't communicate through right away would be, one, do they believe in the ability to communicate through? Two, do they have the desire to communicate through? These are possibilities on the part of the person who's passed. These are possibilities, reasons why they may not. As far as communicating through, one of the questions I put back to the client is, were they a good communicator when they were on the earth? Were they a person who liked to be able to talk? Did they feel comfortable with communication? Not everybody can and will. Now, speaking to the duration after passing, not everyone can communicate through right away because my experience has been, depending on the cause of death, they may need time to acclimate to the spiritual realm. They may need time to adjust. I use the example of jet lag. We've all traveled across time zones. Many of us have traveled by plane across time zones, and it takes us time to adjust to the new environment and get into a rhythm or a groove in wherever we are, wherever we're visiting. Well, the same holds true for the spiritual realm. People passing into the spiritual realm need time to adjust to or acclimate to their new environment. My experience has been such that when someone passes, yes, they're greeted by their family and friends. Yes, there is a celebration for their arrival. And yes, they do experience this great connection with family and friends and reconnect. But many times after that, or depending on the cause of death before that, after they're greeted, they're immediately brought or may be brought to a place of rehabilitation, a vacation, a respite, a rehab, a spa, whatever word works for you. But they're brought to a place where they can rest and relax and feel revived and revitalized, get a handle on their new environment. So while they're in that space, they may not be able to communicate through. It's hard to say that to a client, especially when the client's need to hear from their loved one is so great. But I have to trust the instinct, my instinct in saying, let's put this session off until a couple of months from now. Now, if the client wanted to come to a session right away, their relatives who have passed, let's say it was a spouse who passed, well, the spouse's mother might be in the spiritual realm already, and the spouse's mother might come through to give comfort to the person who's grieving here. So there's no hard and fast rule about how long it will take, when they can come through, but I have to explain to you as a client and as a way to educate, not everyone can communicate through right away. It's just so. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was also about making an agreement. It is an absolute privilege for me to sit as a medium and say to a client, I have your father here. and your father was dying from lung cancer or a cancer. Your father didn't believe in what I'm doing as a medium. And in his passing, you quietly spoke to him and you told him, Dad, if there's any way you can come through, I'd like you to come through. More often than not, I've said to a client, I have your father here, I've described how he's passed, and I've said, he's telling me he's holding up his end of the bargain. That's a moment of grace in my experience, because usually you'll see the client relax and possibly be moved to emotion because Dad's communicating through, hey, you and I made an agreement. I'm following up with the agreement. For me, that's a moment of grace to experience, to hear from someone in the spiritual realm giving comfort to their child, saying, yeah, I made it. Yeah, everything's okay. Yeah, I'm holding up my end of the bargain. Usually, it feels like a moment of grace because I literally see the client relax and get it on a deep level. When I say get it, understand that, yeah, this was one of the things we said we would communicate and convey. I hope this information is helpful to you today. I hope this information gives you more of an understanding of things that are possible with mediumship and with communication from the other side. I appreciate that you've taken time to look at these videos, especially this one. I'm hoping that this information helps to educate you. I want to help you to understand that this is what I know to this point, and I'm still in the process of learning from the spiritual realm. I hope that this information can help you to understand your responsibility as a client, and I hope it also gives you support as a person who's gone to mediums and receives comfort from communication. Thanks for stopping by.